You mentioned COVID. What has been your read on the last 6 months of the world, and where do you think the next 18 months leads us?
Wow. I've not known exactly what to read because I have friends pretty high up in the current White House, and I had friends pretty high up in the prior one in our country. What I'll say is that I think we're never going to be the same. And I mean that maybe in a good way, probably even for you and I. It's opened our minds as to why wasn't I doing some of the things this way prior? So there's entire new industries, entire new practices, entire new pivots that are going to be the blessing of this time. We're rethinking as a consciousness what really matters. Our health matters, our family matters, our relationships matter. Once we will be able to go back together, I think we'll be even more grateful for those associations. So my read is that, ironically, it's going to sound nuts. I think the world needed a bit of a consciousness reset. And I'm not suggesting I wanted COVID to happen, but I think we were going down one crazy consumer-driven, achievement-driven, almost nutty-driven culture that this has given us time to pause and reset and recalibrate. That's the upside, not to mention all the pivoting and all of the innovation. If I was to predict what I think is going to happen, I believe the vast majority of the social distancing and whatnot will be gone by the end of the year. I think there's probably going to be a vaccine if people are willing to take it. If not, some sort of remedy of some type that'll make us go back at least for a while to living until there's the next pandemic. But I don't think we're ever going to go back to many of the businesses that existed prior. I think that there's going to be new industries created from this, and the big ones I think are work from home. I think that more people are going to find different ways to grow businesses out of their homes and less connected in office buildings. Entire new industries will be born. My prediction, though, is that once this reset happens, that we will have one of the greatest global booms of all time in the economy. We're now a much more connected economy, believe it or not, globally because of this, because of Zoom, because of technology. And I believe that we're going to go into, and we may have a dip for a while, depending on what happens in a couple of the election cycles, but I think the next 5 years will be the most robust growth time in the history of our planet economically because of all the innovation, all the new industries. About every 20 years, man, a complete new revolution in industries have been sprung. Our real last one was the internet. There hasn't been one since then. And I believe COVID is that reset that resets an entire new way of the economy functioning, of entrepreneurship, of consumerism happening. And I believe it'll be another massive boom. And those that can get their minds and their businesses in front of that curve are going to make what the Jobses and the Gates and those guys did look like nothing this next 5 to 10 year run. That's my belief.
Are you looking for those companies to invest in now?
You bet. Yeah, and I have in a couple, I can't tell you who, but I do believe that. And I was going to tell you, other smart people that I know do as well. I believe this is the next revolution. And we're in the really uncomfortable stage of it right now because it may not be our last pandemic. It may be our last crisis. And so I think this is the greatest reset since the advent of the internet.